Hey, what's up, guys? This is Snackbox. The new Fusion is live, and we're gonna talk about the kit of ESME, the dancer, and the Fusion calendar, the events and tournaments, and if it's worth it to go for her or not. Before we start, make sure to like and subscribe, and now let's get back to the video. So, the new Fusion, ESME the Dancer. We kind of had a couple of support fusions in the last 3 or 4 fusions, so kind of seems like they just keep throwing support champions at us. We just had Mad Hatter, which was really decent for Hydra, and this champion also does look promising for the Hydra content. She is Force Affinity, which is good, a support champion from the Barbarians. We kind of have a lot of legendaries in the Barbarians, but it is what it is. And the A1 is starting off very strong, to be honest, with a single target hit and a big version of increased attack on all allies for 1 turn. Not bad. This is actually a pretty solid A1. Then the A2 is an AoE attack, and here you have a 100% chance, if booked on a 3-turn cooldown, to place weaken and block buffs. So I don't know if there is another champion that has this combination of debuffs, but I don't think there is. Actually, I remember when I was looking for both of those debuffs to put in my team, but I was just not able to because I couldn't find a champion that would do both of these debuffs. So now we have one champion that does both of them on the same skill, and this allows people to bring in other champions, right? So really cool to have this combination on a skill on this champion, especially on a fragment fusion, which are the easier ones to do. Then we have the A3, which places a big version of increased accuracy and a big version of increased speed on all allies for 2 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. It also has a 100% chance of removing all buffs from all enemies. So it's a buff strip, and it places 2 buffs on your team. Increased accuracy and increased speed is pretty strong. This allows you to build your champions with less accuracy and have them take more turns because of the increased speed. Then the passive, when hit, has a 15% chance of randomly changing the attacker's critical hits to weak, normal, or strong. So I don't know how to feel about this passive effect. This is a weird one, but we just gotta see in action, I guess. Then the active effect is kind of interesting. It's on a 1-turn cooldown. Whenever this champion is hit, increases the turn meter of the ally with the highest attack by 50%. And this is actually a pretty cool passive because this allows your damage dealer, if you have one which is attack based, to take more turns, do more damage, and this is quite nice. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the passive from Molly, where when she gets hit, she boosts the turn meter of all allies. This passive just boosts the turn meter of one ally, and it's the one with the highest attack. And the 50% turn meter boost is actually pretty huge. And on the 1-turn cooldown, so this happens quite a lot. And then she has an all-battle ally speed aura, and it increases by 19%. The same aura that Duchess has, for example. So yeah, not bad at all. So you have 2, 3 buffs, 2 debuffs, turn meter boost, and a buff strip on one champion. And in my opinion, this champion is definitely worth to go for, especially when you keep in mind that this is a fragment fusion. So they're pretty easy to do, easier than the traditional ones or the hybrid ones. We just experienced it again with Mad Hatter, the last fusion, that people always are very quick with saying this champion is trash or this champion is not usable or I'm gonna skip this one. But in the end, it turned out that Mad Hatter is actually very, very solid for like clan boss teams and Hydra teams. And the last fusion actually improved a lot of scores for from end game Hydra teams. And nobody was actually expecting that, or at least the majority said that he's not that good. But it turned out that he's actually really good. And I kind of feel the same way about ESME. Of course, on paper, the kit doesn't look very promising, but I think there's some use to it, especially when you're early and mid game. This champion is actually really worth to go for. Also, when we take a look at the base stats, 18k HP, really solid. You're not going to build her for damage, so the attack doesn't really matter. 1.3k defense already, and the speed, 113. This is actually pretty fast. The fastest champions in the game do have 115 base speed, and 113 is not that far off, so really, really good. So yeah, let's check out the event calendar so we can talk about the fusion plan. So there you go. We're gonna start off today with a spider tournament and a champion training event. This is actually really, really good because there are like 1 or 2 champions and of course Eric's, which I just made a video about, that can solo spider 10 even, and that way you can also get points for the champion training tournament. But before you start running spider, keep in mind that there's this Dungeon Divers event starting tomorrow on Tuesday, and we also have a personal reward CVC tomorrow, so definitely save up your extra energy for tomorrow and start running it tomorrow, because you want to double or triple dip the spider tournament, the Dungeon Divers event, and the champion training event as well, right? So you can solo this spider dungeon with Eric's or Warmaster Authorion or other champions for the lower stages. There are quite a few options. I'm gonna put all the dungeon videos I have in the description below so you can check them out. And yeah, so this is actually a pretty good start for the fusion. Oh yeah, before we go on, we have 125 total fragments in this fusion event. You can get 10 from tournament leaderboards. That leaves us with 115 just from events done, tournaments. You can technically skip 15 out of those 115. Now, if you manage to place on the leaderboards, that's fine, but I'm not counting those in. So you will get 5 from the spider tournament, you will get 10 from the champion training event, and 10 from the Dungeon Divers event. Then we have the Gear Enhancement event 1, and this is gonna start on Wednesday and is kind of like feeding off the dungeon events, which we have here, Spider Tournament and the FIREKNIGHT Tournament, which also lines up with the Dungeon Divers event. There are also ways to duo stage 20 of the FIREKNIGHT, so if you want to triple dip here as well, you can get points for the champion training event, Dungeon Divers, and FIREKNIGHT as well. So yeah, I really like this first part of the fusion. I think this is a really solid start. Then on Friday, we are going to have a Hero's Path. Now, I don't see any Summon Rush event in here, so that means the Summon Rush is going to be this Hero's Path. I also don't see another Dungeon Divers, and that means this Hero's Path is probably going to be a Dungeon Divers and the Summon Rush. So you can technically skip one of these summoning events to a certain degree, right? You only need to get like 10 from the Hero's Path and skip those other 15, or you skip the Champion Chase tournament on the next weekend and fully complete this Hero's Path for the 25 fragments. But it really depends on where those fragments are sitting at. But as I'm guessing that it's going to be a Dungeon Divers as well as a Summon Rush, I'm not 100% sure. I don't have the information, but that's just my guess because there's only one Dungeon Divers and there's never been a fusion with only one Dungeon Diver. So I'm guessing that there's a Dungeon Divers in this Hero's Path as well. You can technically get points for it by completing this Dragon Tournament, and you can solo the Dragon as well and get Champion Training Tournament points. And then, of course, points from shards. Now I would definitely use my Sacred Shards if this is a Summon Rush. I'm almost 100% sure that this is going to be a Summon Rush. My plan is to either get 10 points from this hero, 10 fragments from this Hero's Path, or skip the Champ Chase tournament. Now on Wednesday, there's an ICEGOLEM tournament starting where you can also get points for the Champ Chain tournament. You can solo ICEGOLEM with Artec, for example. The only unfortunate part about this ICEGOLEM tournament is that it's not lined up with the Hero's Path. So if the Hero's Path has like some sort of Dungeon Divers involved, the ICEGOLEM tournament will not count towards that. But other than that, we have 2 artifact or gear enhancement events during the Dragon Tournament and the Ice Golem Tournament. Then on Friday, there's this Champion Chase Tournament, which is a possible skip if you go for the 25 fragments of the Hero's Path. If not, and you skip 15 of the Hero's Path, you definitely need to do this Champion Chase Tournament. The only good thing about Champion Chase Tournaments is that you get points from any source where you can get champions from, Remnant Summons, fusions, previous fusions, campaign, or any sort of source of champions. Even if you get Carnage from the Cursed City, that should count towards the Champ Chase Tournament. It really comes down to if you want to go for the full 25 fragments from the Hero's Path, or just the 10 and the Champ Chase. And then we have the classic arena takedowns, which are the easiest ones to complete. So yeah, I think this one is actually pretty easy to complete, easier than the last one for sure, because it's a fragment fusion and the events and tournaments are lined up pretty well to save energy and resources. And I think you should definitely not skip this fusion, because you never know how well those type of fusions perform. Now, will she be usable or like useful for endgame players? Maybe, right? But she definitely has a very unique kit, and that might be very useful in some compositions. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope this helped you with deciding if you should go for her or not. Let me know in the comments below if you're going for her or if you're skipping. Really curious to see what you guys think. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and see you in the next one.